What if I told you that the most brutal experiment in human endurance is about to go live on the world stage? Forget the marathon. Forget the Ironman. In the next few days, at the Milano-Cortina Winter Olympics, a new breed of athlete will step into the snow. This is ski mountaineering, or Skimo for short. It is not just a race. It is a biological crime scene. Imagine sprinting up a vertical mountain on skis, heart rate at 200 beats per minute, only to rip your equipment apart at the top and plummet down a cliff at 60 miles per hour. Most athletes specialize in power or endurance. Skimo demands both at a level that should be impossible. This is where everything changes for Olympic history. But here is the question that defines the podium. How much agony can a human heart take before it simply quits? The athletes look like heroes, but inside, their cells are screaming. They possess a VO2 Max, which is essentially the size of their internal engine, that exceeds 90 milliliters per kilogram per minute. For context, an elite marathoner lives in the 80s. To put this in perspective, the average person watching this video probably has a VO2 Max around 35 to 40. These Skimo athletes are processing oxygen at more than double the rate of a regular human. They are not just fit. They are oxygen-consuming machines built for war against gravity. But that engine comes with a biological price tag. Within the first 60 seconds of the vertical climb, they hit their lactate threshold. Think of lactate as high-speed metabolic waste. It is like the exhaust fumes from a car engine, except this exhaust is flooding your muscles instead of leaving through a tailpipe. Usually, your body recycles it. But in Skimo, the production is so fast it becomes a flood. This leads to acidosis, which is essentially a fire in your bloodstream. It turns your blood from a life-giving liquid into something closer to battery acid that shuts down muscle contraction. Imagine trying to run a race while someone slowly pours vinegar into your gas tank. That is what these athletes are fighting every second of the climb. Here is something most people do not know. The first time humans attempted organized ski mountaineering races was back in the 1930s in the European Alps. It was originally a military training exercise. Soldiers needed to move quickly through mountain terrain during winter warfare. What started as a survival skill has evolved into one of the most punishing Olympic sports ever created. Those early pioneers had no idea they were laying the groundwork for what we are witnessing today. One variable no one calculated is the altitude of the Italian Alps. At 10,000 feet, every breath contains 30% less oxygen. Your lungs are gasping for a phantom. To understand how brutal this is, imagine breathing through a coffee stirrer straw while running up a staircase. That is what these athletes experience, except the staircase is a mountain, and they are moving at speeds that would exhaust most people on flat ground. Your heart is hammering against your ribs like a trapped bird trying to escape a cage. But then, the miracle happens. The elite Skimo athlete utilizes their mitochondria, which are the microscopic power plants inside your muscles, to do something supernatural. They do not just endure the acid, they eat it. They convert that waste back into fuel while moving uphill at a pace that would kill a normal person. It is like having a hybrid car that can run on its own pollution. It is a masterpiece of biological efficiency. But here is the cliff edge moment. What happens when the climbing stops? What happens when the engine has to shut down and the brain has to take over in a split second? The transition is the most dangerous 10 seconds in sports. The athlete reaches the summit. Their heart is screaming at 195 beats per minute. To put that in perspective, most people hit their maximum heart rate around 170 during the hardest workout of their lives. These athletes are operating 15 to 20 beats beyond that threshold. Their vision is tunneling, like looking through a cardboard tube while someone shakes it violently. This is where the central governor, the brain's internal emergency brake, tries to shut the body down to prevent death. It is the same survival mechanism that makes you stop running when you feel like you are about to collapse. But the athlete cannot stop. They must rip the skins off their skis, lock their boots into downhill mode, and transition to a descent. This requires extreme fine motor skills, like threading a needle. But there is a problem. Their blood is saturated with 20 millimoles per liter of lactate. For reference, a normal resting human has about 1 to 2 millimoles per liter. These athletes are operating at 10 times the normal level. This level of acidity causes cognitive fog. Imagine trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while being chased by a bear and someone is screaming in your ear. That is a Skimo transition. Your hands are shaking. Your vision is blurred. Your brain is begging you to stop. If they fumble the gear for even 2 seconds, the gold medal evaporates. Their competitors are already halfway down the mountain. One variable no one calculated is the proprioception failure. Proprioception is your body's internal GPS that tells you where your limbs are in space. It is the reason you can touch your nose with your eyes closed. When the legs are bathed in acid, the nerves stop communicating with the brain properly. The athlete starts the descent, but their legs feel like wooden stilts attached to someone else's body. They are essentially blind to the snow beneath them. One wrong edge, one hidden rock, and the force on the ACL, the primary stabilizing ligament of the knee, exceeds 1,000 pounds of pressure. To visualize this, imagine balancing a grand piano on a single rope the thickness of your pinky finger. That ligament is no longer a rope. It is a brittle twig waiting to snap. This is the moment of peak vulnerability. The transition from a metabolic furnace to a high-speed chess match played at 60 miles per hour. Could you maintain focus when your muscles are literally melting from the inside out? Here is a fact that will blow your mind. In 2019, a study tracked the heart rate of professional Skimo racers during competition. They discovered that these athletes spend an average of 42 minutes per race, above 95% of their maximum heart rate. For comparison, most cardiologists recommend that even elite athletes spend no more than 5 to 10 minutes in that zone during a single training session. These Skimo competitors are rewriting the textbook on what the human cardiovascular system can endure. But the true mystery is not the climb or the descent. It is the recovery. In a sprint tournament format, these athletes have to do this 4 times in a single day. 4 separate races, 4 metabolic explosions, 4 near-death experiences for the body. This brings us to the concept of homeostasis, which is your body's internal thermostat trying to bring everything back to normal. Most humans need 48 hours to recover from one Skimo bout. These Olympians have 48 minutes. Their lymphatic system, which acts like the body's internal sewage department, must flush liters of metabolic byproduct in record time. They are fighting against the clock and their own DNA. The biological price tag of Milano-Cortina will be written in the scars of these competitors. We are watching the evolution of the human specimen in real time. We have never seen the heart pushed this close to the red line while requiring the precision of a neurosurgeon performing brain surgery. It is beautiful. It is terrifying. And it is the most honest look at human limits we have ever been granted. As the first Skimo medals are handed out in Italy, remember this: the winner is not the one with the fastest skis. The winner is the one whose body is the best at surviving a self-inflicted chemical attack. The winner is the one who can convince their brain to ignore every survival instinct screaming at them to stop. So, as we watch these games unfold, I have to ask you, if your brain was screaming at you to stop, if your blood was burning like fire, and your heart was pounding through your chest, would you have the courage to jump off that mountain? Or would your internal emergency brake win the fight? The answer to that question is the difference between a spectator and an Olympian. I am Sebastian, and this has been the Injury Breakdown. If you want to see the deep dive into how an ACL actually fails at 60 miles per hour, click the next video. The science of the Olympics is just getting started.